What's up, Berkeley Moses, solid as a b-ball, here with Western Guard Omar Shiddo. Um, Made it to the national semifinals this year and the OUA finals. They came up short, unfortunately, in both times, but the fact that they made it to both is a big testament to their season. Omar was a big part of that. Omar, you want to introduce yourself and kind of talk about your experience?
Thanks for having me. One, two. My name is Omar Shiddo. I'm from Brampton, Ontario. I play the guard position, and I was in my fourth year at Western University, and I'm going into my senior year.
You talk about the what made you decide to go to Western. You sure must have been recruited from other universities, or what made the decision for you to go to Western?
For sure. I just feel like it was meant to be. Because initially, of course, everybody has the goal of going playing at the highest level, and that's Division One. And for me, that it wasn't meant to be. And our coach Brad Campbell was recruiting me from early on in the 11th grade,
Yeah.
and he always made an effort to come to games, whether that's him or the assistant. And I remember I made my decision late the summer before. I made it like probably a month and a half before school started. I committed to Western, and the biggest thing was it's close to home. Two, they're a very high academic school, and then three was I knew I was gonna go in there and I had a big role, because they're graduating all their seniors, so it was a perfect storm.
Okay. Did you have any offers from the states or any JUCOs or any universities
No,
over there?
I just had heavy interest from a lot of different Division One schools, say Bonaventure being one, Northern Illinois being two, and those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head. But definitely a lot of interest. It just never materialized into offers.
Okay. Have you had the chance to play against any American schools at your time at Western?
We faced a couple of D2s. Well, we haven't faced any D1s, but I forgot the D2 school we faced, but I think they finished the year we faced them. They were coming off finishing second in the tournament, so they're a high level team. So yeah, there was definitely high level basketball. Definitely some great players. I feel like at all levels, like you'll find some very talented players.
How did you when you guys played even the D2 schools, like how did you find the talent difference between the Western and the D2 school when you played them?
Um, the talent, I feel like the talent level is very similar. Especially the D2. Like I feel like uh, we're definitely on that level, if not above it. And there's definitely some schools in the OUA that are better than like majority of D1 schools, like Carleton. Like that's a high major.
Yeah.
Rice is right there, Otto's right there, and I feel like we're right there as well. But like, I just feel like depending on the school you face, like their play styles might be different. They might be more run and gun, more up and down, and they play with a different shot clock, so they also run their sets and they go through stuff slower than we do because we have a 24-second shot clock.
Okay.
But yeah, man, the talent is there. The talent is there both ways, personally.
What is it you think that what do you think the OUA would need to do in the coming years to keep more Canadian players looking at that as an option and considering that an option from youth? We like talk a lot of youth now. I don't know much I don't know how it's changed with the COVID and everything because everything's going to change. But pre-COVID, it's all let's go to the states, go to the states, go to the states. Do you think the OUA the schools need to market differently to try and retain the talent here?
100%, 100%. That's the first order of operation because I feel like, of course, social media helps a little bit, but the marketing for Usports and OUA is definitely something they can improve on. They need to start televising the game personally. I know they have a good streaming site, but like, how are they advertising that? Like, how do they know the games are being on? How do you know these teams are playing? You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like it's second. You know what I mean? Like, but they have to start acting like it's first. You know what I mean? Also, that can improve. But I feel like they're making strides. I'm not even sure said it because they're even from my first year to me now, like the media's been a lot better. The coverage has been a lot better. Also, full scholarships.
Okay.
That's huge. That's huge. I know in Ontario they don't offer that. due to whatever reasons there is. I know out west and out east, and Quebec and stuff, they offer you full scholarships.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if they want to keep homegrown soil here, they gotta offer what they're offering down there, and that's full tuition. So
Yeah.
I think with those two things and the trajectory the OUA is already on, I feel like slowly but surely it's gonna get there.
Yeah.
And, I always think that the highest level players, the guys who are one and done type players, are always gonna go down to D1, and now it's looking like they're going straight to the G League. So I feel like times are changing, and OUA and Usports is definitely on the rise.
For sure. Do you feel like there's, I mean, it's a bigger than basketball question, but like, do you feel there's almost like less value on the degree now for guys that want to go pro? I mean, there's almost no need, it seems like there's no need to get it sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Are you talking about like one and dones, or are you just talking about guys going to Europe?
I mean, I know it's probably a good point to make. There's probably a difference of one and dones and then guys that are deciding to go to Europe. Yeah.
To be honest, like that's the thing with basketball. Like when it comes to sports, like soccer. Let's say soccer, for example, in Europe. Like I watch soccer and stuff. Like for example, those guys, they get the high school degree and then they're right into the professionals, right? You know what I mean? But in basketball, they put that alongside with school. It's like if you don't have the school aspect, you can't play at this level.
Yeah.
And for a lot of guys, they do it because they have to, not they don't do it because they want to. Okay. And so like at the end of the day, you go to school to make money. You play basketball to make money.
Yeah.
So like, you know, if you have those goals and those aspirations, I can't even judge you if you're trying to put some food on your plate and try to go do that. And school is just like your path to get there.
Yeah.
And you're doing a one and done and you have the talent, like, you know, like kudos to you for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. You kind of got to go where the talent is, and it's kind of different with the system. As you mentioned with soccer, they allow you to go professional at a younger age, and school doesn't really have much to do with it. Do you think?
And I'm pretty sure that's how it is. And sorry to cut you off. I'm pretty sure that's how it is when like Luka Doncic and them play in the Euro League. Like they go from high school and then they're right into the pros.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like why is there like the standard here?
You have university sports over there like that. It's not really.
Like, you go right into the pros and then you're making your money. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like if you have that option, like you're not really going to school if you're putting your marbles in that basket. And that's the only way you gotta feed your family. So.
It's just crazy how it's flipped here, though, where it's almost all through the schools. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then if kids don't like at the young, like your kids at 18, 19, like you're still a kid, like, and if you don't have that aspect, like the academic aspect, you look to as in like, yo, he's not serious, or like he's just not a low academic kid. You know what I mean? But like,
you're here to play basketball.
Are you judging basketball here, or are you judging? You know what I mean? So
for sure.
By the end of the day, you gotta do what you gotta do. So whatever way you gotta make your ends meet, you gotta make your ends meet.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how that's like that, and I just think that there needs to be attention brought to that. But because like it's just you know the way here, like, you know what I mean? It's just like America's in their own bubble.
Yeah.
You know, so we're part of that, but like they're in their own bubble of like how stuff should be done.
Yeah.
You know? That's the way you have to do it.
Yeah.
Now you kind of see guys going like LaMelo Ball going to Australia, and like Brandon Jennings back in his time went to Europe, came back. You know, there's always that sprinkle of odd guys doing that, and kudos to them. If you can make your own path, man.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, like you're saying with the guys going through the G League now. And you got to kind of you got to make it work. Sure. I think what's tough too with the Usports, to stick with that, is that a lot of the schools, like you're at Western, it's a high academic school, right? So a lot of the guys that can ball, do you have like the 90 average to get into Waterloo or Laurier or Queens or one of these schools too, you know? So it's almost a lot of those top echelon schools are not even a option, you know?
Sure. You
kind of feel like they suffer on the ball court side of it sometimes because they're not really open to as much a wide range of recruiting.
And that's both ways too, because the schools miss out on players that they want. Yeah. And then the players miss out on schools that could potentially be an option.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like when you put it that way, like it's like it's that or bust for some of them. You know what I mean? Or because like I feel like personally, I feel like the OUA and the OCAA is very different levels of basketball. Okay. And so like
the OCAA is better.
No.
OUA is higher.
I feel like the OUA is much higher, and I feel like OUA sets you up for basketball
professional
later because you play You got to play certain. You got to play. You got to play in a system.
Yeah.
It's quality of basketball. Personally, but
Yeah.
OCAA still has hella talent. Like definitely, a lot of guys I play with, a lot of guys still play with playing the OCAA.
They're raw.
But I think if they could pick, if you ask those guys who play for those schools, if they could pick between playing for Ryerson or Humber, like I think you know what the option would be if they had the option. I'm pretty sure they would pick whatever. Like they would pick Ryerson, but you know what I mean. If that's the situation, make the most of it.
Yeah.
And kudos to you everywhere you are, man. Me personally, I feel like yes, going to the school you're at matters a lot.
Yeah.
At the same time, if you're talented, they'll find you wherever you are. Personally, that's my motto. So if you play at Humber, if you play at Conestoga, if you play at Seneca, you know what I mean. You play at Western, like if you hoop and you do your thing and you put your head down and you show up, you'll have a chance wherever you are.
Yeah. I mean, talking about you guys are a high academic school, and you made it to the OUA finals and put a damn good team on the floor. You know what I mean? In doing it. So, how do you guys find that balance? I mean, what is it? Like, you guys spend time in the locker room? You guys study together? How do you guys maintain that cohesion? Like, you guys have good academic standards and good basketball at the school.
Yeah, man. Western's a crazy school, honestly. Like, you know, that academic wise, like, I don't know if you know, it's known for being like a party school. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just there's so much different aspects. So like, you know what I mean? Like, when you come to, like, the basketball team is very like small. Like, it's like 15 to like 18 guys compared to the 40,000 population at the school. So it's like, yes, you gotta keep that cohesion and like stay around each other. And I think in order to be a good team, you gotta have some sort of camaraderie on the team, and you gotta be cool off the court as well. And so we have that. But I feel like everybody has their own study habits.
Okay.
I feel like you continue the habits that you had from high school.
Yeah.
And then, of course, like in your first year, I feel like it's a shock for all students, especially being a student athlete. Like for me, personally speaking, when I came, like it was like there's a moment where you take like, oh, like this is like I gotta do a lot. You know, you're your own professor.
Yeah.
The professor's not gonna chase you like your high school teacher would chase you. You know what I mean? And you got to be on top of your stuff.
Yeah.
Well, definitely, my first year it was a challenge, but after that you adapt, you get better. You learn more about yourself. What times you're productive. You know that, let's say I have practice at 8 p.m. I'm not gonna do no schoolwork after practice because I'm gonna be drained.
Yeah.
I gotta get in this slot after lift. I gotta get it in here.
Yeah.
And so everybody functions differently. Some guys love to do it in the morning. Some guys do it in the afternoon. Some guys can still do it after practice.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's a big challenge. And being at a school like Western, where some schools, like I know, like the other schools, like their practice time is their practice time.
Yeah.
And nothing gets in between that. But being at a school where it's like a high academic school, where like the academics are taken like
super
seriously. You might have a class in between your practice, and you gotta have half practice and still go. So it's definitely you gotta definitely adjust to it. Definitely a challenge.
Yeah. Sorry. When you guys you talk about the difference between having like for the kids watching, what is some of the difference between the university coach's style and like the high school coach's style, and how they approach things?
Yeah. Of course, depending on what kind of coach you have.
Yeah.
Like coaching, there's very different coaching styles, but the attention to detail is just totally different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In high school, you can just stand in front of a dude, and that guy in front of you might not be too good, or like you can get away with not even playing defense in a sense. You can get away with just ISO basketball. You can get away with just like literally just going through the motions.
Yeah.
The attention to detail is big, man. Like you making this read about on this play, or you being in one step late can make the difference. So the attention to detail is the biggest thing. And like you have to have a higher understanding of basketball to play at this level.
Yeah.
Depending on the coach style as well. You know what I mean? You might have a coach in high school who has the same style as your coach in university. But the attention to detail, there's scouting reports now. You know what a guy likes to do. You know what percentage he shoots from the floor on each spot. You know what he wants to get to. You know what sets they're running. Before the game, you know every single set they're running. Team. So like that's the biggest thing. Like it's not just putting 5 guys on the court
Yeah.
and going up and down with a referee. You know what I mean? It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
And the biggest part of it is the coaching, because there's a bigger attention to detail.
Yeah. Did you find the transition tough at first? How did how did you finally like come into your own in these last couple of years and work through the transition?
For me personally, the transition wasn't too much. I feel like I have a high understanding of basketball. And I just something I was just blessed with from when at a young age. I seen the game in different ways. I had an imagination, and like, I can make reads.
Yeah.
But I feel like my motto every time I play basketball is just like which ways can you get better? How are you getting better? So every year I try to add something to my game, or whether that's making more mature reads, whether that's being in the weight room, whether that's I feel like every aspect of my game could get better. And so when I came from high school to Western University, yes, you see how much more you practice, how much more goes into it, how much more lifts, how much more just like attention is to everything.
Yeah.
But that wasn't like a shock to me. It's like, this makes sense. Like, this is how it's supposed to be. And so like, I just get better every year, and every year I feel like I've done that, and yeah, just keep improving.
Yeah.
And knowing that, like, from high school to university, it's like, there's no more, this guy is 2 years older than me. There's no more, this guy is 3 years older than me. Like,
Okay.
you've been playing against a guy that's 6, 7 years older than you.
Yeah.
But that's basketball, though. Like,
Yeah.
You don't see rookies complaining that, like, they're
Yeah.
35-year-old LeBron James.
Age
Like,
gap and stuff like that. Yeah.
like, I'm a hooper. I'm facing hoopers. There's no more to that. So that's definitely something that you realize right away. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're great playing as a grown man. There's no more, play U17. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that was a big difference. The biggest difference, as long as the attention to detail.
You guys obviously had a great season. Was there any point in the regular season when you kind of knew, like, there's something different about this team? I can feel it. Like, we've turned a corner, we've turned a leaf. I think for me on the outside, I think the UFT game. I think you guys kind of got into a little flow after that. I don't know, for you, what was there any point of the season that kind of got things on the right track for you, or you kind of knew something's different about this year?
So off rip, there was just a different team chemistry from the get this year. Like, the rookies just meshed with us, like, you know what I mean, from the get-go. And I initially broke my nose in the beginning of the year. I broke my nose in the beginning of August, end of September, and I was out for like 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
And I missed a chunk of preseason games. Now, before that, I already felt something different about our team. We're just like, there's just more chemistry, there's more cohesion. Guys get along at a different level. Like me, Eric Jenkins, Nick Farkic, Tyler Thompson, Julian Walker. Like, we had years together now.
Okay.
And now it's like, it's our 4th year together. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's already you already have your core group of guys, and now you get the rookies and the young guys, like, meshing together so well with that. Now you have something special.
Yeah.
And then I remember when I broke my nose, and I was out for I missed like 7 games, 2 regular season and 5 preseason games. It was just next man up attitude, you know what I mean? And like, it was like the younger rookie guys, the young guys, second year guys, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Take this spot and grow with it. And now you have a bigger role. And now when push comes to shove, and later in the season we need you to play, you had those reps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we have the belief in you. And on top of that, it's just like, it was a different feeling.
Yeah.
Now, during the season, when that changed, was the Lakehead game.
Okay.
So we faced Lakehead, I think the third last game of the year.
Yeah.
And at this point, Lakehead was like on a crazy winning streak.
Yeah.
And they were like 4th or 3rd in the country.
I like the team. They're a nice team.
Yeah, no, for sure. Gritty. They play hard. They defend.
Yeah. They got dudes.
Yeah, and I remember we faced them. And the year before, we actually went to Thunder Bay, and we were on a winning streak, and we were ranked, and then they beat us back to back.
Yeah.
And so, like, I still had that sour taste in my mouth. And then when we faced them, it was like, yo, we know we're capable. We're facing them in our home gym.
Yeah.
But we beat them, and we beat them like by double digits, by like 20.
Yeah.
And after that game, it's like, yo, you don't say it, but you feel it. It's like, okay, that's us playing really good basketball. What's to say we can't do that every time?
Yeah.
And now we already had this belief, but it's like when you actually go out and do it, that's when you turn the leaf. And man, after that we faced York, and then we faced Windsor. I remember against Windsor, we're down in our home gym senior night. We're down double digits in the fourth, like 9-10 points, and it's like we turn it around, we go on a crazy run, win the game.
Yeah.
And then that's when you know it's different. And then and then it's like it was just crazy.
Start rolling through the playoffs and everything, and then
and then we get to Laurentian.
Yeah.
And we actually the past 2 years before this year, we lost in the we had a bye. The past 3 years we've had a bye in the first round.
Yeah.
So we always finish first or second. This year we finished first in our conference, and so we have the bye. But then we would come and then we would lose in the second round of the playoffs in the quarters. And so now it's like you're coming to the playoffs and you have a monkey on your back. You're like, yo, I know how good the basketball we play when we're feeling good and we're doing good, but now it's like we gotta get this one win. We gotta get this one win, and then you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
We go against Laurentian, super tough team. You know, they're not giving nothing. So we come out, we win that game, and then after that we were rolling.
Yeah. With Laurier
then Alberta, we beat Alberta in the first round. So we faced Carleton actually in the finals, and we played them close, and then we ran out of gas with like 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
It was a 3-point game. So I mean, like we almost had them too. You know what I mean?
From an outsider standpoint, you kind of Carleton for me is like kind of that team like you kind of root against them. You know what I mean? Like you kind of want to see them fall because it's like you don't want the same team to kind of win every year. You know what I'm saying? So do you think it's something that Carleton does differently, or is it just their depth or their recruiting, or what is it about them that keeps them at that elite level?
Yeah, it's the program, man. So they get players, they have like 10 players you can play at any school.
Yeah.
At a time. And there's 10 players buy into the system. And when they buy into the system and they always have the best defensive team in the country. They always have the best rebounding team in the country. And then you mix that along with rotating guys 5 out, 5 in, 5 out. Like the most they're playing a game is like 22 minutes, 21 minutes. Yeah. And then it's like a constant freshness, and they're pressing you, and then they're always in your grill, and then they score the ball like at a high clip, and they're always the leading scoring team. It's just a recipe for success. And then it's not like these guys are just in a system and they're just okay player. No, they have really, really, really talented players in that system.
Yeah.
The program breeds that, and it's just a cycle that happens. And it's not like professionals where you have a team for so long and you can buy the gap players and trade this and trade that. No, it's like you go to the school and you're there for 5 years or whatever you're there for, and then they weed you out. But they have such a crazy system and crazy recruiting system, and players they always get the top players in Canada.
Yeah.
Whether that's transfers from Division 1 or whether that's commits from high school.
Yeah.
And so when you put that with that type of system and you have high level players, you get Carleton.
Yeah. You think from what you see around the league and what you hear, do you think there's enough pro opportunities for the guys that play OUA basketball? Or is it something that needs to be publicized more? Or how do you kind of take that in?
Like, I feel like I got to graduate and then see how the process works to judge that, because I don't really know all the details in it. I don't know too much about it, but you hear about it. But I feel like every year I've played in OUA, you see a handful of guys go pro. Yeah. And I feel like it grows every year.
Yeah.
And so, yes, I feel like the opportunity is there, and it's been there. It's just about, you having the right opportunity and you making the most of it. Because I feel like the opportunity is there. It's just about you making the most of it.
I think what's tough with the OUA is that, and the CEBL's kind of stepping in there to help with it, but if you play NCAA, like you can enter the draft and like have a shot. You know what I mean? Your name's in the draft kind of thing. It's just there's no, before the CEBL, there's no like feeder league or next step up league for the OUA players to play in, right? So you have one guy going to Germany, one guy going Israel, one guy going to Turkey, you know what I mean? And like you kind of play OUA and then it feels like these guys disappear after.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure. And I do think it's gonna be something that keeps growing.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, like, you know what I mean? There's like 450 guys in the NBA.
100%,
yeah. The whole world, you know what I mean? So even the guys in the NCAA, like, 98% of them are not, or 99% of them are not going
You're not gonna make it. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they end up in Europe, or they end up in the G League, or they end up in the NBL. You know what I mean? So I definitely do think the OUA, with the growth that they're continuing to have in U Sports every year, that crossover from U Sports to the NBA draft,
Yeah.
it's a long ways away, but it might come sooner than later, the way things are happening right now.
You think Tanner? Tanner may have been a shot, but he's down there now.
That's my guy. Yeah, Tenor. Yeah, for sure. He transferred to Florida State.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like
I think this is height. You know what I mean?
he's definitely in there. Like, that guy's motor, his work ethic,
Yeah.
his raw talent, raw abilities, like, it speaks for itself, and I think he'll end up there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll take a guy like one of the top prospects maybe staying over here to kind of make it more formidable? Like, we sound crazy, like an Elijah Fisher or somebody like crazy, just saying, okay, even if it's Carlton or something, just to stay, somebody that knows, okay, like they're probably gonna get drafted, you know. But I guess it's tough because you want to showcase against the best competition too, right? So
yeah, I feel like that won't happen. Like I feel like Canada has to grow a lot more. U Sports and the OU has to grow a lot more, because now you're even seeing what Matura Maker did, and he went to a HBCU school. That's still like a high level D1 school, but it's looked at like, whoa, you know, what is this guy doing? Is he sure? Is he this? Is he that? So we're a long way away from like OUA and U Sports having that.
I think what we see growing though is like, especially with the prep schools and stuff up here, a lot of the guys that play U Sports, they play prep, right? And they play against a lot of the guys that go down south. You know what I mean? So like, you're on the same team, on the same prep team, like they may not end up getting a scholarship or going down there, but like, do you still see how they kind of compare against each other, and their paths are kind of crossing a lot more now? You know what I mean? So
for sure. And the way EU ball is, like, you're seeing, if you're playing a certain circuit, you're seeing those guys.
Yeah.
You know, 2 times a year. So so you definitely know who you're going up against and what that. So Canada basketball is growing exponentially. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was in high school, there was no such thing as OSBA.
Yeah.
Now, if you're not playing the OSBA or the MPA, it's like you're not trying to hoop. Like, you know what I mean? Like, are you who you think you are? You know what I'm saying? So it's in another 5 years, who knows, man? Like,
who knows? Yeah.
So like, you might start seeing like players stay here rather than going to mid-major, staying in Canada. You know, who knows? So,
I think the COVID thing, it may be just
that might spearhead that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure, man. We don't know what's happening there, though. Man. Time. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's crazy, but let's see more guys going professional. With the stuff you've done with your criminology background, have you thought about, let's say, like, obviously, even if you do play professionally, your career would have to end at some point. How you'd use your criminology degree, like maybe be a lawyer or agent or anything, or get into politics or anything like that?
Yeah, like definitely my criminology degree, I feel like I can do many different things. Definitely law school still an option. Definitely teachers college still an option. You know, I feel like once I get to that point and I have to start thinking about when my basketball career hopefully comes to an end in years to come. Hopefully when I'm at that point, like, I can figure out, like, I can still work within basketball. But other than that, though, like, you know, we'll cross that leaf when we get there.
Yeah. I guess in the meantime, you try and just focus on your craft and.
For sure. Plan A is trying to play professional basketball. So we go down to the wheels fall off.
Yeah. So this year's coming up in your 5th year. We hope there's a season in January. Obviously, your goal is to get back to nationals, right?
For sure, 100%. Improve on last year.
Yeah.
Sure. It's a failure if we don't get to where we got to last year and past that. And I definitely do think we have the guys. I definitely do think we have the tools and we have everything in front of us. And with everything going on, like, it'll show who's been putting in the work and who's been had their head down and who's been doing their thing. And I got my guys all day.
All right, man. All right, I'm just gonna stop the video. If you can stay on for a second, I'm just gonna stop it here. Thanks for everything, man. Appreciate your time. Good luck to you guys next season. I think, yeah, big things to come. Hopefully, get that season going in January, and we can see how you guys progress. Gonna stop it here now. All right, thanks, man.
No problem.